Young people are getting sicker earlier and staying sicker, and older people are getting sick but holding on to some remnants of health longer. And most of the treatments are geared toward the older population. Is that true?
Yeah, that's true. That's exactly right.
That's a terrible situation because it essentially is not preparing for the future.
Right. So what we have is a system, as a sick care system. The advances we've made have allowed people to stay sick longer. It hasn't translated to longer life, right? There was a hope, I think, when I first started doing research in 2001 in population aging. There was this idea of a compression of morbidity. That is, you live a long life, and the time you spent really sick and disabled was compressed at the very end of your life. Rather than spending a long time disabled and sick, and you die after having spent like a decade or more very sick. The idea was that we have advances in our culture has produced results so that you live a long life and you only spend a few months really sick at the end of your life. That hasn't panned out, right? That is, in fact, we have very little increase in life expectancy, and for many people, unfortunately, a very long period of time in a state where the quality of life is not that high, not that good, right? Dementia, chronic disease leading to, say diabetes leading to all kinds of kidney failure, macular degeneration, you name it, peripheral vascular disease, heart disease. You end up with a situation where all of these amazing biomedical advances that we've had over the last decades have not translated to actually improving the health and well-being and longevity of the American people. I think that the biomedical research infrastructure of the country has to translate over for results for real people, for the American people. Otherwise, people can ask us, why are we having these? Why are we doing what we're doing? It can't just be that we're doing cool things. I mean, not that we're not doing cool things. A lot of cool things are getting done. But if they don't somehow eventually translate over, I don't mean to distinguish basic science work. I think basic science work is really important. But eventually it has to translate over, or else people will say, well, why have we made these vast investments? The key thing is, if we're not actually improving health as a result of the research we do, then we haven't accomplished our mission, right? The research agenda of the NIH, as we've talked about, it's like we talked about, international relations as determining in part what scientists work on, in drug pricing. We talked about how politics determines the agenda that scientists work on, right? So you talked about HIV, right? So the political focus on HIV led to the vast investments the NIH has made in HIV with some positive effect, actually a lot of positive effect. And then also the sociology of professions, the scientific profession determining. These are all complicated things that result in the portfolio. But if the portfolio ultimately doesn't meet the health needs of the American people, then it's not doing what it's supposed to be doing. Part of my job is to make sure that it does meet those health needs. The Make America Healthy Again movement, that's what it's asking for, that the health institutions of this country actually meet the health needs of the people where they are. And in large part, we've not successfully done that in this country for decades. Otherwise, we wouldn't have this major chronic disease crisis we're currently facing. And so that's, it's a complicated question. It's not like, it's not just solved by funding one grant or making specific decisions. It's about the incentives of the system at large to focus to create incentives so that scientists turn their ingenuity toward those health needs rather than just advancing their careers incrementally.